Pitbull Cruz, Gervonta Davis. It's inevitable, folks. It's inevitable. You already know this past weekend, Pitbull Cruz beat the crap out of Romero to become the WBA junior welterweight champion of the world. Yeah, man, it's inevitable that we're gonna watch the rematch with Gervonta Davis and Pitbull Cruz. They're in the same side of the street. PBC, you already know, man, they did a wonderful job with their first fight with Amazon, first event on Amazon Prime. Shout out to Fundora and Tim Zoo again. But I know that Pitbull Cruz called out a lot of champions. He did call out Teofimo Lopez. He called out Devin Haney. He called out Gervonta Davis, and then later in with Fight Hub TV, shout out to Marcos Viegas, he called out Subriel Matias. Now, to be honest, in the 140-pound division, I believe that Subriel Matias versus Pitbull Cruz is the most exciting matchup due to the style of fight from both of them. You know, they offensive fighters, come forward fighter. You know, they fight more than box, in my opinion, and I think that calls for a highly entertaining fight for the boxing fans. But also, you know, Gervonta Davis got an entertaining style as well. Now, the first bout, we all understood that Gervonta Davis had a hand injury. Allegedly, he had a hand injury before the fight, but then it looks like he got re-injured during the fight. Now, we see a different approach with Gervonta Davis in that fight with Pitbull Cruz. You know, he was working on the outside. He was fighting almost like Devin Haney, really. But I think in the rematch, to be honest, I think it'll be, if a healthy Gervonta Davis, I think it'll be I think that Gervonta Davis will still move around. You know, Pitbull Cruz was young, he was green. And I'm not gonna say that, oh my God, he's a A-class champion, because he did beat Rolly to become the champion. You know, I don't think a lot of people did respect Rolly as a champion or Rolly as a boxer in itself. So probably Pitbull Cruz, who's been living off the loss of Gervonta Davis, because a lot of people felt like he had a great effort, and there was people out there that felt like it was a draw and things of that nature, to the point where his stock didn't drop. You know, it's like I said a lot of times, man, it's not about just winning and losing, but it's how you win and how you lose. And the way that Pitbull Cruz lost the first fight, you know, his stock don't drop. You know, and I hope in boxing we do keep that same energy, almost like Tim Zoo. He lost to Sebastian Fundora, but I don't believe that his stock dropped. We got to preserve the modern-day warriors, modern-day gladiators. We got to preserve the fighters. We can't push them on the side because of a one loss. So Pitbull Cruz has capitalized off that loss. And, you know, he got a couple of fights under his belt. He looking sensational. The fight before the last wasn't, but he made a statement. And the statement is that, you know, he's a hot commodity in the 140-pound division. And the good thing about it, man, you bringing a lot of you bringing the Mexican nation and the Puerto Rican nation in the 140-pound division. You know, we saw the fight this past weekend, and it looked like Pitbull Cruz has a lot of fans, people willing to support him. Now, I could think two things. What I would do with Pitbull Cruz if I was a Manny Pacquiao's promotion, I would do a homecoming fight. You know, I will take him back to Mexico, just like Canelo Alvarez did with John Ryder. Take him back to Mexico. I believe every champion deserve a homecoming fight. You don't got to put them. You don't have to right away put them in with a beast. You know, he's young enough. He could do the same thing that Gervonta Davis has been doing. Put it that way. So I think that you get him a homecoming fight. Don't do the same mistake they did with Jason Rosario after he beat J-Rock. You give him a homecoming fight, and then probably, you know, you could maybe in August, and then probably in December you get the Gervonta Davis fight in December, in my opinion. But remember, Gervonta Davis, in the post-fight interview after his fight with Pitbull Cruz, Jim Gray asked him if he wanted to give him a rematch, and he said, hell no. I don't think that Gervonta Davis, regardless if he was injured or not, liked the pressure of Pitbull Cruz. I mean, who do like the pressure of Pitbull Cruz? Pitbull Cruz has effective pressure. Yes, he's wild at times. Yes, he leaves himself vulnerable with the right hand. Like, Rolly Romero was connecting on the right hand, but it just felt like Pitbull Cruz wasn't feeling it. He has his head down. Potentially, you could break your hand in the style of Pitbull Cruz. So I think it's inevitable for that fight. I know a lot of people want to see Gervonta Davis in there with other elite fighters like Devin Haney, like Shakur Stevenson in the 135-pound division, Teofimo Lopez, and a potential Subriel Matias. We know that Gervonta Davis already fought in 140 before. He beat Mario Barrios, in which that fight aged well. And it seems like this fight with Pitbull Cruz aged well, even though that it was a fight of two victims of Gervonta Davis. Due to the performance, I think that Pitbull Cruz performed very, very well. And at the end of the day, man, the fans care about performances and entertainment more than the belts. So, again, I think that Gervonta Davis will go up to the 140-pound division again, but to fight Pitbull Cruz. Hopefully don't have him in a rehydration clause or any stipulations. But I think that fight is going to be inevitable. That's an in-house fight. It's an inevitable fight. Just like Earl Spence versus Fundora. That's an inevitable fight because of the same side of the street. You know. What do you think about the fight? What do you think about the rematch? I think in the rematch, to be honest, I think Gervonta Davis will still take the rematch. But also, I believe that Manny Pacquiao Promotions got the opportunity to milk Pitbull Cruz just like every other promotional company do with 90% of their high invested fighters. Again, I think that he got a fan base that he could build around. If he get the Gervonta Davis fight right away and he loses, then yeah, he'll be a fan-friendly fighter. But I think he needs a homecoming fight. Give him a homecoming fight, just like Subriel Matias is getting a homecoming fight, right? Teo got a homecoming fight. Devin Haney got a homecoming fight. You feel me? He got a homecoming fight in San Francisco. Teo had a fight in New York City and stuff like that, in which he lost right after the Lomachenko. But all these guys get their homecoming fight. Even Deontay Wilder got his homecoming fight in Alabama. Everybody got their homecoming fight when they win a title for the most part. But I think Gervonta Davis will beat Pitbull Cruz in a rematch. But I also would love to see a unification bout with Subriel Matias and Pitbull Cruz in Madison Square Garden. Probably Puerto Rican Day Parade or even Mexican Independence Day. Puerto Rico and versus Mexico is the traditional epic rivalry. I think, man, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Madison Square Garden. I did a video in January about this. I said that Pitbull Cruz was going to stop Rolly Romero. I would love to see Subriel Matias versus Pitbull Cruz in Madison Square Garden, Puerto Rican Day Parade, or Mexican Independence Day. Puerto Ricans will still come out on that day. It'll be a hell of a fight. It'll be a hell of an entertainment. I know there's gonna be that's the Zone and Matchroom and PBC. I just think that. I mean, look, even if Pitbull Cruz do fight Gervonta Davis this year and loses, I would still want to see a Pitbull Cruz versus Matias, depending how he loses to Gervonta Davis. If he performs well and give a good effort like the first fight, and it'll be a controversial victory with Gervonta Davis, it'll still be a good fight with Subriel Matias. But I've still got to be worried about how Gervonta Davis was fitting so uncomfortable with Pitbull Cruz, man. He said, hell no, he don't want the rematch. So, does Gervonta Davis really prepare for that type of pressure? Sometimes it's not even about that you're a better boxer. We all seen, brawlers give a lot of complications to boxers. McDonald did it with Floyd Mayweather. Ricardo Mayorga with Forrester. He beat Forrest. So we can't write off Pitbull Cruz versus Gervonta Davis. I just got slightly Gervonta Davis to beat Pitbull Cruz in a rematch. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Y'all already know this is Punch Raw Boxing, aka Mr. Moonshine himself, aka El Adobo, El Sazón, El Borracho, El Pastor de Boxeo. Hope everybody had a good Easter weekend. We know we don't substitute Christ with a bunny. So you already know God first, everything second, fight plus survive equals 2 champions. Peace out.